And moving on, next, we are absolutely honoured to have the Right Honourable Michael Gove with us today. Michael is the Editor of The Spectator, a former Member of Parliament for Surrey Heath and the UK Government Cabinet Minister. He served in Cabinet across 5 government departments for more than a decade. Please, hands together for the Right Honourable Michael Gove.
I used to be important. I was a government minister for a while and Secretary of State for Education. And as you know, it's the Education Department that is responsible for children in care. I loved that job, and it meant a particular amount to me because I spent the first 4 months of my life in care. I was born in Aberdeen, given up for adoption, and then after just 4 months, I was taken into the home of the people whom I will always think of as my parents, Ernest and Christy. And I remember about the time that I started primary school in Aberdeen, my mother explaining to me what it was to be adopted. She explained why, in only one respect, I was different from the other boys and girls who I'd be joining in class. And she used a phrase, and it's a phrase that stayed with me forever. She said, "Michael, you didn't, as a baby, grow under my heart, you grew in it." And those words stay with me because the most important thing about children in care is the true meaning of that word. When we talk about the care system, we talk about funding, finance, structure, interventions, legislation, and they all matter. But the single most important thing is making sure that for children who are vulnerable and who are experiencing dislocation and change and disorientation, that there is someone, ideally more than one person, who will put them first, who will care for them. Now, whether that is adoptive parents, or foster carers, kinship carers, or those social workers and others who are working in the care system, whether it's people who provide mental health support or counsellors, the most important thing as you grow up is to know that there is someone who will put you first. And that doesn't mean softness. Putting you first sometimes means putting boundaries around you as well as arms around you. It sometimes means that there is someone there not just to catch you when you fall, but to make sure that you don't find yourself in circumstances when you're in danger. And we desperately need to ensure that those who provide that care are better supported in our society. So when I was in government, we tried, and we made some changes, not enough, to ensure that those who are adoptive parents, those who are foster carers, and those who provide kinship care get the support, financial, and more than that they need in order to bring love and stability into the lives of others. But there's so much more that we can do, so much more that these 2 days have reminded us that as a society and as government, that we can do. We can make sure that those who provide foster care are provided with the reassurance of knowing through a proper register that we recognise the work that they do, that we validate them, that we professionalise, and we uphold the value of what they do. There's more that we can do as well in order to make sure that our residential care system is improved as well. There are lots of people who work in residential care who do an amazing job to help and to support young people. But it's still the case that there are some who run residential care homes who think of profit first and care a long way after. And we do need to take action to better regulate what's happening in the system and to make sure that those providers who are not in it for love, but in it for money, are dealt with appropriately. And we also need to make sure that every step of the way for every young person, we're there. It was the case when we came into government in 2010 that there was a cliff edge at the age of 16 for many in care. We've extended some of the support that we give beyond that to 18 and 25, but it's still not enough. We need to make sure that when it comes to housing and employment, that we do everything possible to ensure that there is no cliff edge for care leavers, but that we are with them every step of the way as they make their contribution to society. And it's that contribution which I know that over the last 2 days we've been here to celebrate. Because while we can look at the negatives, and we need to be realistic about what needs to change, and we need to be honest about the failures that are still there in the system, what we should really be concentrating on is positivity. Under the last government, and blessedly under this government, we have something called the Care Leavers Ministerial Board, when ministers from all of the government departments come together to listen to care leavers about what they need, rather than presuming that we know, and also to hear from those who've achieved amazing things. Everyone here, everyone in care, has a talent, a spark of potential, the ability to touch the lives of others and to achieve amazing things. But we've put barriers in their way, the uncertainty that they will face as they move from placement to placement, the sense that often they are misunderstood or marginalized, the knowledge that there are people out there who will stereotype or even exploit them. What we need to do is to concentrate on the immense ability that every individual has and find a way for them to become authors of their own life stories. Talking of authors, over the course of a weekend 2 weeks ago, I went back to Aberdeen to visit my mum, and on the plane there I read a book called Troubled, written by an American writer called Rob Henderson. He details his experience, chaotic and difficult, of the care system in California and the United States of America. But he also records how individuals who cared and loved for him at critical moments guided him in a way which allowed him to go on to become a brilliant student at Yale University, and then subsequently not just an author, but a path-breaking researcher in psychiatry and psychology, helping the vulnerable in a way that, if only he had been helped, so much of the early trauma in his life could have been avoided. His story is just one of many stories that await to be told. Stories of achievement, of ambition, stories like Fatima's, that remind us all that within every heart and within every soul, there is the potential to change the world for the better. That's what these 2 days have been about, and that is what the care system should be about. A relentless focus on advocacy for change and a relentless determination to find the treasure in the heart of every man and every woman. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
This epitomises what we've tried to do over the last 2 days, and I think it's wonderful that Michael has encapsulated that in his speech, and I just want to say a very big thank you to you.
Thank you, Fatima.
And thank you for making the time to come and share what is a very important day for all those that work within the care system and all our young people and children. And thank you very much, Michael.
No, thank you, Fatima.
Thank you. Thank you.